friendos, I'm coming to you with my December wrap-up. And I know I'm saying that, but oh my god, December went so fast. I thought I'd read a lot less books than I actually did because I was very busy with assignments and like Christmas retail, but somehow I read all of the books. And so let's get into this. So first off, we have one that I was carrying over from November, and that is Diary of a Bookseller by Shawl. I took that one out from the library, so I have since taken it back. Pretty much it is what it says it is, and that's the memoir of someone that owns a second-hand bookshop in Scotland. It's Scotland's kind of like bookshop city, so it rang true to my experience as a bookseller a lot, and I thought it was very funny and that dry kind of booksellery sense. And what he did is that he included the number of customers that bought things and the amount of money that they had that day, and it just, oh, child, I don't know how they're still running, because I was just, it's not a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. I don't know how he's still in business, but I'm impressed, and he, as exasperated as he gets by his job, he really loves it, so it was very heartwarming in a sense as well. And what I didn't expect it to do was just bring forth even more awareness about the harm that Amazon is doing to traditional bookselling and kind of how the digital era is affecting. And it was just overall a really, really good read, and I would wholeheartedly recommend it if you're into memoirs. And then I read A Proof of Monsters, The Passionate Loss That Created Frankenstein by Sharon Doker. And this is pretty much a fictional story about Mary Shelley's life. And I quite enjoyed it. I still don't know. I think it's pretty accurate, but I'm not 100% sure. It's that weird thing where you're reading about people that actually existed as if they were characters. So that's always just a very strange experience for me, so I couldn't fully immerse myself into the story because of that very reason. I don't know, pretty much that's how I feel. It was really engaging, and I thought it was well written, though I was talking with one of my coworkers, and I know she thought the pacing was a bit off, and I can definitely see that. I thought it was interesting that a lot of the people around Mary were given perspectives as well. And then, just because this really got me in the mood, I got the actual biography from the library. I'm yet to get to it, and then I watched the Mary Shelley biopic that's now on Netflix, and I really liked that, though it's not as accurate. It's just a whole mess, but I love Mary Shelley, so if you're curious, I would recommend this, I think, just, for funsies. And that's coming out in February 2019.
Which it is now, 2019. It's a year that we're in. That's wild.
And then, slowly but surely, I finally managed to conquer the beast that is Queen of Air and Darkness. And this is the third and final book in the Dark Artificer series, which is the third series in the Shadowhunter Chronicles. It's Cassie Clare's newest book. I can't tell you much about the plot because it is the third book in a series that's following a lot of other series and all that, but it's very good. It's very good is what it is. It follows still the kids from the LA Institute after the events of the previous books, and it dwells a lot deeper into Shadowhunter lore and Shadowhunter politics and kind of the myth of the Parvati bond, and it's just, oh my goodness, it's Cassie's best in terms of craft as of yet. I don't know how she does it. I think she's just, her mind is too powerful. The character studies, the dynamics between characters, the kind of, I don't know what to say because spoilers, but all of it is just masterfully crafted, and I very much love it. And I think it didn't read too much like a final book in a series, because there's a lot of things that have been left open for the Wicked Powers to continue, but that's only out in like 2022, 2021, so there's so long to wait, but it's well worth it, I'm sure, and I think it's a really good book. And then I'm sure a lot of you know Rocky. Blonde with a book, blonde with a book. There we go, that's her handle. And if you don't, I will link her down below because she's one of my favorite people to watch and like follow on Twitter and everything. She's obsessed with the Sherlock Holmes series. So I'd previously taken it out from the library but never had the time to like get around to it. And I actually did get around to it this time and I was very happy. It's pretty much a YA mystery about Sherlock Holmes and Jamie Watson, who are like very, very far into the future. So like our times, relatives of the Sherlock and Watson, and they're being framed for a murder, and it's just like super fun and super wild. And there's a mystery and there's like teenage angst, and I just love them. I love pairings of female Slytherins and then they're like Hufflepuff male counterparts. I think that's just my favorite thing to read about, and their interactions are very pure, and Jamie is just so excited to follow in the steps of their ancestors, and it's just very wholesome. And I love Charlotte so much as a character, and I'm very excited to see how the dynamics between the two of them develop and what other mischief they're gonna be up to. And so I'm super excited to continue on with the rest of the series. Thank you, Rocky, for pushing all of us to give this wonderful book a chance, because it's just an absolute joy. And then I will actually have a reading vlog linked down below for the first part of me reading this book, because that was my comeback to BookTube, and it is Angie Thomas's On the Come Up. So this is her sophomore novel, and it takes place in the same sort of area as her debut, The Hate You Give. I'm sure everyone has read it, and it follows Bree, who is an aspiring rapper, and it's a lot about, again, social issues and race and privilege and legacy and making your own path in life, and also staying true to yourself and discovering yourself and finding out who your people are. And it's such a wonderful novel. It's about staying true to who you are and finding your voice, just as The Hate You Give was. And I think Bree has a really great narrative voice. I think she's super fun, and I think that the way she processes everything that happens around her is really interesting, because you get to see her getting stuck on certain words and then kind of forming raps in her mind to process what's happening to her or around her with that. And it's so smart and it's so interesting. And I think that even though it's mostly just a really fun novel, at the core of it, there's so much depth to it, and there's so many issues. Again, microaggressions, police brutality. It's not really police, it's more like security guards at school. It's just, it's such a good novel, and I think Angie Thomas can do no wrong, and I'm so excited to see anything else she ever writes in the future, because this was such a strong book, especially to follow the success of The Hate You Give. So my metaphorical hat is off for you, Angie Thomas. And that's out in February as well. And then I read Enchanté by Gita Trelease, and this is also out in February, believe it or not. This is a YA historical fantasy, and it basically follows this girl as she's trying to keep her family afloat, because the parents are dead. Her older brother is just deadbeat and just takes more money than he brings in, and she needs to take care of herself and her sister. So she is the possessor of this kind of magic that they call magie ordinaire, which basically allows her to turn scraps of metal into gold for a little while. It's not very long, so it's not very useful, but she ends up in Versailles at a random card game with very high stakes, and so she's trying to fool the court that she is this noble woman, well, just like, you know, robbing rich people of their money, which I can respect. And it's all about her just trying to stay afloat, but then getting a little bit carried away. and it's in the time of the French Revolution, so it's a lot, again, about class and society and money, and it's so good. The magic system is so interesting. The setting and atmosphere is so complex and intriguing because while you get to see the glamour of Versailles and all the royals and their dresses and all that, it's always with the note of the pain and kind of the uglier parts that are underneath that all, and what that was built on as a setting and as a system and what it stands for. And then you also get to see glimpses of the real Paris, and it's so interesting. And Camille's love interest is half Indian, so you get to see a little bit about the stuff he deals with, and it seems like the author herself is also half Indian, and she also did a lot of research into how POC were treated in France at the time, and it's just so nuanced and wonderful, and it stole my breath away, and it's one of my biggest surprises for this year because I just loved it so very much. Then another book that I took out from the library that is now back is a middle grade, and it's called Tilly and the Book Wanderers, and it's the first book in the Pages & Co. series by Anna James, and it just stole my breath away again. It was one of the most pleasant books I have read this year. It just felt like home, and it felt comforting and wonderful. So basically it follows Tilly, who has been living with her parents in the bookshop that they own, which is just wonderful. Again, from the very beginning, I'm sold. And she discovers that she not only can see fictional characters come to life, but she can travel inside books, which is called Book Wanderer. So it's a lot about that and her finding out what happened to her parents, and it's just such a beautiful book, and I think that it would appeal to everyone who likes reading, because it's so much about living inside books metaphorically as it is literally, and it's so beautiful, it's so sweet, and I think the concept at the base of it is just great, and a lot of passages just felt like they hit home because Tilly's relationship with books is so special, and so is her parents, and the mythology that Anna James created around this idea. There's like an under-library underneath the British Library that only deals with book wandering, and it's just so very special. So I would recommend that for readers of all ages, and it's the kind of book that I really wish I'd read when I was younger, but it still struck a chord with me even now. And then because it was December, and with that it was Harry Xmas Year month, I couldn't not read a Harry Potter book, so I listened to the audiobook of History of Magic, because that was also narrated by Natalie Dormer. So I just had to get it when I saw that, and it has a lot of interviews with people from the British Library or museum, or I don't know where, and the narrator of the audiobooks, and it's just very special. If you love Harry Potter, I still think it would have been much more of an immersive experience had I had the physical book, because there was a lot of Natalie Dormer just trying to describe photographs and stuff, so that was a little bit off, but overall it was just very homey because it's Harry Potter, and no matter what she who shall not be named does, I am Harry Potter trash, so it is what it is, you know? Anyway, let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them, and I shall hopefully see you with my favorites of 2018 next, if this goes up first. If not, I don't know.